Good morning, traders. This is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Morning Edge webinar. I want to welcome you all back, and we're going to get started with our analysis. Let's grab our bias chart, and let's get started with the euro dollar here. All right. So, like I said, today, I've closed down my euro shorts from the last couple of days, and frankly, I closed them out for a slight loss yesterday. I was a little early to the party. Shorting the euro like on, let's say, Thursday. So Tuesday I was a little early, and so my cost average was it was right around the 113.20s, somewhere around here is where I was short, because I was shorting as we were coming into the 113.30 area. When I closed it out yesterday, I think I closed out right as we came right back down to towards my break-even point, because I didn't add to it, which obviously in retrospect I should have done that. But as I tell you guys every day, I try not to live in shoulda, woulda, coulda land, which I would get, like anybody, you just get yourself wrapped up into that. But that's not what I do. I just, hey, I took it off the table, and I wanted to basically, reduce some risk ahead of today's ECB meeting. I do have euro shorts through the euro pound, which I don't mind keeping, because the euro pound, obviously, I'm trying to hold a core position going through the Brexit vote. So, but you got to get through situations like this, and key events like the ECB meetings to be able to hold through it. So it's not going to be an easy feat by any stretch of the means, and I'm well aware of that. So if you look at the euro dollar, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually remove everything. All of our analysis here, and I'm going to redraw it, okay? And actually, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to remove this. I don't want to redraw all that longer term stuff. I want to delete all this intraday stuff, all this analysis we have, and kind of start from scratch here, okay? On more of the intraday, okay? Because longer term, you can see the longer term reasonings why I still stay bearish, and I'll stay bearish as long as we're below this dotted trend line right here. Okay, remember that was what we had thought at the time was a flag pattern. Okay, then we broke it, and it neutralized the euro from being in a bearish trend to more of a neutral trend, and this resistance here comes in at 115, and which is very, very key. Even if we take out new highs, the 115 level is going to be the obvious place for me to be on the short side. And this is the kind of, even if we broke the 114.50, and you guys probably remember this analysis from 2 weeks ago when we were in this really tight trading range, when we had the 7 doji patterns in a row. We were right through, basically right through this tight range. As I told you guys, even when we were at the 114 level, even if we broke new highs, I would be a seller up at 115, because I know that there's such key resistance up there. So when you're talking today, and with the ECB, the question that I ask, and I think the reason why the reason why the euro dollar is so strong at the moment, and why it's near its highs, is because everybody's looking at the euro thinking the same thing. What the hell is the ECB going to do? They made such a big adjustment to monetary policy last meeting. What is Mario Draghi going to say today to knock down the euro? And obviously when he continue to cut rates into deposit rates into negative territory, stepped up quantitative easing as expected, and the euro elicits a positive reaction from 108 to 112 that same day. We had a 350, almost 400 pip move. What is the ECB going to do? What is Mario Draghi going to do today to really bat down the euro? And most people, I would agree, are thinking, well, if he couldn't knock it down, what's he going to say today to really put the euro down on its knees. Now I do, and I will reiterate what I said earlier, I don't think that Mario Draghi is too happy with the exchange rate currently. Okay, I would have to agree that he's probably looking at the euro at 113 saying, holy crap, I thought this thing was going to be at 105 after the last meeting, and here we are at 113. So that means that he's going to have to be very careful about his words today, and he's going to have to tailor them very carefully for the market, because if he's not careful, the euro dollar could be trading up at 115. And that I truly believe. Now, do I think the euro dollar is going to 115 today? Probably not. So what does that mean for us today? Well, there's a couple of things. You know, when you're looking at the euro dollar, first and foremost, I have to take into account the dollar index, and you guys all know, and I think I've been very clear over the last few days, that the euro dollar is near major support. I mean, you know, if you look at the here, let me grab. I don't know why I don't have everything up here, so let me pull everything up. Give me 1 second. Just grabbing all these charts. Sorry, I had them on my other screen here. All right, so if you look at the dollar index, you know, the dollar index is really near some very, very critical support, longer term. And I don't know why all of these came. I think yesterday I was trying to, no. All right, obviously I need to redo everything here. Okay, here we go. All right, so here's the dollar index, and okay. Give me a second. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to put everything up the way it was. All right. Okay, here's the dollar index. And like I said, yesterday I was trying to clone some lines, and apparently they they cloned. It didn't do it for me yesterday, but apparently it did. Okay, so here's the dollar, and as you guys know, if you go over to the daily chart, we're near some really key support. So as I've explained to you guys, I'm not. I think it's very dangerous to be aggressively bearish the dollar right now, as we're near major support on a weekly, monthly basis. Okay, that's why I've been, you know, establishing some dollar longs over the last week and a half, and that's why, you know, or 2 weeks. That's why I have like the dollar Swiss long, and I just bought the dollar Canadian yesterday. I own the dollar Swedish Krona. I own some US dollar Mexican peso, and I'm slowly establishing dollar longs here. I closed out some dollar longs overnight just because I didn't want it to be too aggressive, the dollar going into the ECB meeting. But this is why that any weakness in the dollar, any substantial weakness in the dollar, or in other words, any substantial rally in the euro dollar, I'm going to use it as an opportunity to sell into strength. Okay, like I said, I don't think we're going above 115, and even if we clear highs through 114.50, I'd just be looking to sell on a move. Now let's go over. Oh, Dennis Cartman's on CNBC. They invited him back. When you make comments like crude's not going to go above $44 in my lifetime, I don't see how he can't address that, because those are, as I said the day that he said that, those are very irresponsible comments to make, especially when you're a man in public, or a person in the public's eye like Dennis Garman. You know, believe it or not, there's a lot of people that watch CNBC. They have no freaking clue what they're doing, and when you get somebody that says crude oil will never in my lifetime go above $44, you're going to have people laying into crude that say, well, I'm going to short crude oil because Dennis Gartman said it's short crude oil. They're watching him on TV all over the globe. That's why, that's probably one of the reasons why the euro dollar, or the crude spiked to levels that we've seen recently, despite all of the structural problems that crude has is just from a squeeze perspective, because you get, you know, so many people that short. You got, you know, jagoffs like him saying things like that. Very irresponsible, especially when you know, are a quote unquote market expert on CNBC. It's and amazing that he's not even addressing it, or I'd be surprised if he doesn't. Anyway, okay. So let's deal with the euro dollar. I don't want to get on that. I don't want to get on that bandwagon or on that that box, because if I get on that box, I'm not going to get off that box. So, so here's the euro. This is a tight consolidation that we're seeing, and I don't know if the euro dollar is necessarily going to stop at this trend line, but I would think that any move up towards, you know, 114 is going to be looked at as a selling opportunity. All right, and you know, especially from a risk-reward perspective, you know, you start getting up towards 114. I'm going to look at it as, hey, you know, I can get short at 114, keep my risk above 115, maybe a little bit higher than that, and still look for a move back down towards 111 or 110 in the coming weeks or months ahead. I may have closed my euro dollar out short for now, but I am going to tell you I am looking to reestablish a euro short or a dollar long, even if the ECB, or excuse me, Morrow Draghi cannot talk down the euro dollar. And like I said earlier, I don't think he's going to be able to. I really don't. So I think the market is preparing for a stronger euro dollar today, because look, if he couldn't weaken it here, how's he going to weaken it here? Because what else has he got up his sleeve? You know, what kind of, you know, not like he's going to announce new measures. It's going to have to be really, really downgraded forecasts, and he's going to have to be very downbeat about the European economy in order to get the euro dollar lower. And I just don't know, as a central banker, he's going to be doing that. So again, I'm looking for a rally today in the euro dollar, but I'm also looking to sell into that strength. Yes. Have I been on pause the whole time? Damn it. Sorry. Damn it. Damn it. I hate it when that happens. You know, this is what happens is I got to sleep at 10 o'clock and I got up at 2:30. Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. All right. Thanks. All right. So I can't believe I've been talking this whole time without. Good news is I didn't draw a whole lot. So let me just show you. I'm going to give you a quick recap. So here's that trend line, major trend line that we thought this was a flag. Okay. Initially, it's a flag pattern. We were breaking down. Didn't follow through. You know, the market got too bearish, the euro, too bullish the dollar, and too aggressive in outlooks on Fed going to raise rates, which obviously those have shifted. So the euro dollar broke through that trend line, gave us more of a neutral trend for the euro, which we've been in for the last several months, and now I'm looking at the euro dollar as any type of rally here as an opportunity to sell. So here is, you know, the euro where we sit right now. Okay, and I am expecting a little bit of a rally here as we get towards 114. I think this is going to be really key resistance today. I am looking for a short somewhere up there, and like I said, I think the risk is really above 115. You know, 115 and a quarter. But longer term, again, I'll just reference the dollar. Here's the dollar index. The dollar index is near really key support. Being bearish, aggressively bearish the dollar while we're down here, I think is a bad move. And that's why, you know, I am, ECB just no decision on, or they just, they left rates unchanged. Okay, so the euro dollar is not doing anything. It's coming down just a little bit, but we weren't expecting any change anyway. We're waiting for the press conference. Press conference is going to be critical. Okay, so 114 in the euro dollar. I really got to get started now. I wasn't expecting to do that recap. So here's the range. Let's go over to the euro dollar as far as support goes. So if you look at what we've done thus far, if you take the low all the way up towards that 114, we stopped at the 618 retracement, as you guys have known the last couple of days. The 618 has really held us for support. So what that means is this dip right to here is going to be very critical. Okay, so if for some reason we break through 112.75, that's going to be very problematic for bulls. Okay, now I think everybody's expecting the euro dollar to go up today. Again, I'll reiterate, what's Mario Draghi going to do today? Is he really going to be able to talk down the euro dollar? I question it. I do. Okay, and I think most of the market does too. But you never know what Slick Willie Draghi has up his sleeve. The guy has an uncanny way of making the market move where he wants it to move, especially regarding the euro. So, um, you know, he can give us the whatever it takes. I'll do whatever it takes to fight inflation and drive the euro down to to nothing. So you never know what he can say. All right. So anyway, support down here is going to be 112.65, and if we break through that, or 112.70 actually, if we break through 112.70, we're going lower, and then you and I are going to have to chase it lower. That's the problem when you don't have even though I'm short the euro pound, I don't have a euro dollar short, and so we start cracking through some of this support over here, and yeah, we're all going to be chasing it lower. And there's going to be a lot of people that bought the euro dollar today thinking the exact same thing we are, because it's not performing brain surgery right now. We're all thinking the exact same thing. What the hell is Mario Draghi going to say that can really drive down the euro? Well, if he pulls something out of his hat and the euro falls, those people are going to get squished. The people that got long, expecting what we're expecting. And the flip side is then you're going to get predator type of traders like me and you, opportunists in the market. We're going to look at the euro dollar and say, oh crap, we're breaking through that support. Let's go ahead and get short. So we break through this 112.70 level, and it's going to be probably a pretty rough ride lower, I would think. All right, let's go over to the cable really quick. I'm going to try to cruise through some of this analysis. So the pound, it's up today despite the weak retail sales numbers. Now, the retail sales numbers came in way lower than expected. Revisions were the previous month was revised lower, and excuse me, really quick. And the cable rallied back. Now, as you guys know, we're in a very what I consider getting into the apex of this triangle of the cable. We thought it could be an inverted head and shoulder pattern back here, but we extended the right shoulder a little too far, so we started to develop this this triangle. And so I actually shorted the pound above 144 a couple of days ago. I closed it out for a small profit, and I've left the cable alone because I have cable longs being short the euro pound and long the pound New Zealand. By the way, I had a pound Canadian long. I got out of that this morning, just to let you all know, for those of you that were trading that. But you look at the pound. Okay, the euro, by the way, is at new highs. You look at the pound right now. Pound's going to have really key resistance at 144.20. Any which way you slice it. I know we've written down that number like 3 days in a row, even before we got to 144.20. But that is going to be key. All right, support is 143. Obviously, that's the overnight low. I don't think there's much more to be said. I mean, you can short the cable right now, but I think the risk is, how about if the euro just rips higher to 114? If it does, does it take the cable with it? That's the risk. That's why I'm not shorting the cable right now. I mean, technically, if you know me, technically, like I did when we were here, and I said I'm going to short the cable once we get up towards 144.15. Remember that? I said that when we were here. We got up to 144.15, and I forgot to do it. So when we bounced back to 144 and change, I shorted it. I shorted it. Okay, actually, I'm sorry, I shorted it right here at 144, and I wrote it down for a few pips. And if you know me, technically, this is exactly where I would be shorting the cable. My hesitation right now is that I'm scared that the euro dollar rips through 114 and it takes the pound up with it, because if the pound breaks through 144.20, we're going to squeeze to 145. and that's going to happen relatively quickly. So I don't feel like getting stuck in a squeeze just in case the euro dollar starts making a move. But that looks very doable right there if we squeeze out of this triangle. I think this triangle is a little premature though. The apex haven't developed quite enough yet. So anyway, support we already got at 143, resistance 144.20. Doing anything ahead of the ECB meeting, it's not my cup of tea, so I'm going to just leave it alone. Let's go over to the Swissy. Now, before I go over to the Swissy, have you seen this? You look at the Euro Swiss. That Euro Swiss, that strength there. Okay, that strength in the Euro Swiss, that's lending a lot of support here to the dollar Swiss. As you guys know, I'm long the dollar Swiss, and any dip now in the dollar Swiss, I don't think this is equal. I don't think these are equal legs, by the way, just FYI. Not even close. Okay, so here's the Swissy. I want to say dips to 96, 90 are going to be very well supported, but I don't want to go there because I think if the euro dollar does pop, then the Swissy will get a dip that looks probably something more like this. So any dip to 96.40 will be an opportunity to get long if you missed it. If you're not long with me near 90 in the 95-cent level, then any dip to 96.40 will probably be a great opportunity to be on the long side. Okay, especially if you're like me and you're expecting a move up towards up for a move up past parity. Okay, resistance right now is going to be those highs. So the highs, overnight highs, or yesterday's highs are 97.30. Okay, we are in a range. Although I'm bullish, the longer term is that we're still in a range. Okay, most of you know that I've been looking to buy the dollar Swiss for so long, for several months down at 95.50. So once we got down there, I got long. So I'm trying to hold it for a move well above parity. This is a core position I'm working right now. All right, let's go over to the dollar yen. Okay, here's the dollar yen. So the dollar yen's been very strong just the last few days, but a lot of that's due to the equity markets, the resilience in the equity markets. So it's finally just dragging up the US dollar Japanese yen. But as you guys know, my biggest fear with the dollar yen, if you're long, my biggest fear is that when the equity markets roll over, which they will, if you don't think the stock market will ever pull back again, you're absolutely wrong, 100% wrong. We will pull back at some point. Whether we continue to hit new trend lows and break the lows from a couple months ago is to be seen. But if you think we're just going to sustain gains like this forever and ever and ever in a day, you're wrong, because it just doesn't happen. So whenever the market decides it finds its peak, that divergence between the US dollar Japanese yen is very problematic for anybody who's long, because as soon as that equity market starts to roll over, the dollar yen is going to roll over too. And so that's why I'm pretty adamant about this, that if we get an opportunity to short the dollar yen at 110.65, I am looking to get short. So I know I've been explaining that, but for those of you guys that are new listeners, that's what I'm looking to do. We are in a bearish trend. We have very unfinished business down at 105, which is the head and shoulder pattern on a longer term basis. But the scary thing is if equities even have a 5 to 10% pullback from current levels, this dollar yen is probably going to trade down towards 100 yen, if not lower. Okay. Let's go over to the, that's resistance. So resistance, like I said, 110.65, which is right here. It's also a 50% retracement. Obviously, we need to clear 110 first and foremost, but 110.50 is what I'm looking for. All right, now any move, well, this is obviously support here. That comes in at 109.50. Excuse me, 1 second. I'm going to write down two support here, 109.50 and then 108.70. Hold on, let's go. 108.75. So 108.75. What was the other one? 109.50. Okay, two support levels there for the yen. And when I get back, we're going to do the Canadian, Kiwi, Aussie, dollar index. We'll do the Peso, Swedish Krona, Norwegian Krona. Don't go anywhere. We got a lot to do before this ECB press conference. Thanks everybody for being here. Happy Thursday to you. Be right back. All right, traders, this is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Morning Edge webinar. I want to welcome you all back. Yeah, Barry said, hey, I saw your tweet last night about your new computer. I have a Falcon 2, lovely computers. Yeah, yeah, I got a Falcon delivered, it got delivered like a week ago. Things pretty badass. I'm still got to wire up everything, and I just trying to find the 4 hours of my day to get everything set up has just been near impossible the last couple of days. But yeah, I basically am just changing up, as I've told people here the last couple of days, just moved my office into the actual study, and my wife thinks the setup's a little ridiculous now, but hey, whatever. Joseph said, nice going. I have a Falcon 2. Those guys are awesome. Yeah, I've traded off of, I've had for my trading operation, I've had 4 computers that I run simultaneously, and I was ready for an upgrade, and I was sick of upgrading just one at a time, and I'd been doing that for so many years, and I'm just like, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 screens on basically 4 computers, and not to mention my mobile stuff that I use just going around the house, which is between a laptop and an iPad and all that other stuff, just to as I'm working my way around the home. I just decided to consolidate. So yeah, so it's good. Barry said Falcon is the Ferrari of computers. Yeah, it's pretty slick willy stuff. So anyway, I'll take a picture of my setup once I'm all completed here. All right, but that doesn't have anything to do with anything right now. Watch the euro dollar. The euro dollar is continuing to head up towards highs. The cable is creeping up towards highs too. So guys, we are seeing, as you would expect, some dollar weakness coming into the market. All right, let's go ahead and go back into where are we at? Where we just did. We need to go over the Canadian. So here's the Canadian. So the dollar Canadian hit 126 yesterday, and if you well, I don't have the alerts up here. As crude was piercing 42.50 yesterday, or close to, I said, when crude takes out 42.50 and makes a run past 143, expect the dollar Canadian to slump back down towards 126, and it did. What's most interesting about the dollar Canadian right now is the dollar Canadian is holding up despite crude oil being above 44. Okay, and that's pretty much something that I think you all have to pay very close attention to. Is the dollar Canadian is not, it stopped dropping, and it's that divergence right now that really speaks volumes about the market. So 126 is support, resistance is 127.40. As I mentioned yesterday, 127.40 has to be taken out. It has to be taken out to take the downside pressure off. We are right around the 38% retracement on a monthly basis. Okay, 38% on a monthly basis is right here at 126.4 or 126.70. We're just trading right around here, and I'm long. My cost average is right here. My cost average is 126.52. All right, I am long the dollar Canadian at these levels. It's very oversold. We've got a lot of divergent relative strength. I don't think crude's got much higher to go from here in the near term. So I'm playing the dollar Canadian back to the long side. You know, I was long here, sold half here, got stopped out of the rest here, bought a little bit here, got stopped out of it here, got long again at 120, right where we're at, and I am looking for a move back up into the upper end of this channel, just so you all know. So support is 126, okay, and we could see 126 again today. I do not rule that out because, you know, obviously if the ECB, you know, if Draghi gets the euro dollar back to 114 plus, then, you know, the dollar Canadian is probably going to come down to 126 again. We are in a bearish trend. I am trading counter trend right now, as most of you know. All right, let's go over to the Kiwi. I closed out on my Kiwi shorts. And made a few ducats yesterday, you know, being short the Kiwi around the 70-cent level. Closed out this morning, and we are paused right on. And you can see why I closed it out here. We're right on key support, okay? Now, if the euro dollar does come down, the Kiwi dollar is going to get crushed. That's all I have to say about that, okay? And that support's going to be at this yellow major support, which comes in at 69 cents. I'm going to write that down. 69. This is major support. The Kiwi has been underperforming. Go take a look at the Aussie New Zealand. You know what I'm talking about. I don't have time to do that right at this very moment in time, but that's that. Okay, so low, high, 38% retracement thus far. Okay, so if the Kiwi, watch this little breakout here. If we can crack 69.90, that'd probably be some decent. That might cause a little bit of a squeeze there. It's actually 95, but 92. Wait, hold on. What's the low here? 91. I'm sorry, it's 90. Okay, and it's in a bullish trend. Okay. Yes, I was trading counter trend yesterday, but that isn't a bullish trend. Euro dollar continues to make new highs. Pound's back above 144, FYI. We're about 22 minutes from the press conference. Aussie dollar. Okay, so here's the Aussie. Now the Aussie, okay, I got to take a step back for a second. So this was rather interesting. I forget who told me about this trend line, and I said, "Oh crap! Look at that." Okay, low, low, high, high, hello. Okay, there we are. All right, right at resistance, and that it actually capped us yesterday, and it's capped us the last couple of days here. Okay. Now, if the euro dollar pops to 114, if the euro dollar pops to 114, the 161% extension comes to 78.65. Okay. And as you guys know, if we get towards 80 cents, I'm going to short the living crap out of this thing. So, whoops, this is bullish. Everybody should know that. But that's my long-standing stance is, yes, if you get the Aussie back towards 80 cents, I'm going to short the piss out of it. And I don't care. I don't even care what's happening at that time. Just we get to 80 cents, I'm going to get on the short side. It's just like the euro pound. As I told you guys 5 months ago, when the euro pound gets above 80 pence, I'm going to short it. I didn't even bat an eye when it got up there. Okay? So. Oh, Ricardo said Hamid showed that trend line in the Aussie dollar. Okay. God dang, Ricardo, that's good memory right there. You know what? I'm really tempted to short the cable right now. Very, very tempted. I'm not going to, but I'm just telling you how I'm very, very tempted. We are developing right now little bullish wedge in the Aussie dollar. Here's the 4-hour. That is a bullish wedge. Make no doubt about it. We have consistent highs with higher lows. That means that there's a higher likelihood of an upside break than a lower break. Okay, I'm not saying it's guaranteed to go up. I'm just saying that there's a higher probability of it moving higher through a bullish wedge that you see there. Okay, now if I had to throw a number on it, I would say 65% chance we move higher, 35% chance we move lower. So can we still move lower? Sure, but you know, there's just a lower probability of that at this point. I'm going to not write down support at 78 cents. We're too close. I will write down massive support today comes in, mega support comes in here at 77.20, just in case we do get a sell-off. All right. And frankly, if you want to be a buyer of the Aussie, that's the place to do it, in my opinion. You know, be a buyer down here instead of buying it up here. If you can get a dip like that, that'd be the place to do it. If you want to play back in the direction of the trend. All right. Okay, let's go over the dollar index. So the dollar index coming under a little bit of pressure right now. It's early on, so I don't even really want to pay attention to the daily chart. Okay. Here's the dollar pulling back. Let's get rid of this. I don't want that right now. What I want is my coffee. That's what I want. Coffee good. Coffee good. 4.5 hours of sleep. Coffee is definitely good. Okay. No. I should have just done that up there. Stupid. It's all right. Okay. Dollar index, we're coming into support, so that means that this 93.90 is going to be support. Oh wow, look at the cable. The cable just squeezed. Holy crap. We're pushing above 144.20. Gosh, I just shorted it at 22. I had to take it. Hold on, I'll come back to that here in a second. I just shorted it at 20. I'm sorry, I got it at 23. I thought I got it at 22. I got it at 23. It's going to try to squeeze a little bit further. You scum bucket. It's all right. 93, what is that? 93.85? No, 93. What's the low here? 93, what's the low? 93.92. So 93.90. Sorry, I'm just trying to cruise through this, guys, just to get it all done before Draghi starts speaking. Resistance. 94.65. We are in a range. We're at the lower end of our range, but we are in a range, just so you all know. Man, I can't believe I can't believe the euro dollar is just continuing to press higher here ahead of the ECB press conference. Okay, I'm getting short. I'm getting short. I'm getting close to being short the euro dollar too. Just get up to 114, please. Please. Pretty please. Okay, so where am I at? What we got to do? We got to do the peso. Let's go to the peso really quick. Now, the peso, remember, this is more of a risk aversion, risk appetite play, more so than a dollar play. Okay. So, same applies as yesterday. Here's our range, 1737, 1720. We wrote down 21, but 22, but we dipped slightly below that. So 1720, 1737. This is in a range, but 1720. 17, and just remember, if we're breaking 1737, that's telling you that risk aversion is coming in. That's what the peso tells you. It has really nothing to do with the dollar at this point. It has more to do with emerging markets and how they're emerging market currencies and how they're responding to risk appetite. That is a Gartley pattern. All right, let's go over to the Norwegian Krona. Again, I'm just trying to do this really quickly. So here's the Norwegian Krona. We're coming right to, we're at basically new trend lows, but screw that, man. Let it hit new trend lows. Let it plow through some stops here. Get everybody short as we hit that channel bottom. You know what I mean? And let's go over to the daily. You got massive horizontal support down here. Massive. Right? Like massive support through here. Just look at it all. Look, damn it. I mean, look at all that support through here. So just let it hit new lows. I mean, and this thing, even if it hits new lows here, it's like, where's it going to go? You know? 807. Let it trip new lows. Let it trip some stops. Whoops, damn it. Okay, resistance. So resistance, to take that downside pressure off, we'll have to get back above 820. Let's remove that. Isn't a slight bearish trend? I know I waffle every day. You know, we have this conversation, but it's like, it's in such a bullish longer term trend. It's just right now it's in a near term downtrend. So I've been putting range, and I hate to put, let's keep it at range here. I know it just walks that fine line of, is it in a bearish trend or is it in a range? All right, here's the Swedish krona. As you all know, and I'm long the Swedish krona. The Riksbank met last night or this morning, or they kept rates unchanged and kept rates in negative territory. And, you know, they're at NERP. Major support, 803. Major. As long as we stay above 803, I'm not worried about it. So 8.03. And I own it basically right here. I own it at 808.68. So, I mean, I literally own it right here. Resistance, and we had a hammer yesterday, just so you know. And today's not over. So we had a hammer yesterday. Today it's lower right now, but today is far from over. Far from over. Okay. Resistance is 818. That's key. Okay. And we're at the bottom end of the range. All right, so there you go. Your bias chart is done. Finished. Finito. Fazuli. Let's take a look real quick. I'm not going to have a chance to answer all these questions, but cable's trying to hold above that resistance. You know what? I don't mind being short the cable here. I'm short at 23 right here. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. At all. The euro seeing a lift ahead of the ECB press conference, but I don't know how much more the euro has in it. I'm tempted to just actually short the euro dollar right now, but I'm not going to. I'm going to wait till the ECB, press conference starts, till Draghi starts speaking.